Welcome to the DMF Wireless Remote Drive Training for CSX Spec 620 vehicles. This video will demonstrate the proper operation of the wireless remote drive functions of your vehicle. Read and follow all equipment operation manuals prior to use of the vehicle. The remote drive system should only be used while the vehicle is on rail. Never allow personnel or equipment to be in the working area of the vehicle, either in front or behind, while the remote drive system is enabled. In rare instances, loss of wireless communication can occur as a result of interference from other wireless equipment, such as cell phone towers, wireless locomotive controls, or handheld CB radios. In the event of remote drive system communication loss, the vehicle will come to an abrupt stop, PTOs will disengage, and all other remote system functions will turn off. If the engine is running, it will return to idle. Keep body parts and equipment out of the path of travel of the clutch and shifter assemblies while the remote drive system is enabled. These components may move at any time, including during the shutdown sequence. Revving the engine while a PTO is engaged may result in PTO or pump damage. Never operate the remote drive system when there is less than 80 psi in the vehicle's air tank. Disconnect all power and antenna cables from the service base units before performing any welding on the truck. Failure to do so can result in damage to sensitive electrical equipment. The first toggle switch on the left side of the console box is the on-off switch. Press it up to power up the console box or down to turn it off. The other two toggle switches on this face are only used when pairing a console box to a base unit. The battery compartment is located next to these switches. The console box takes two alkaline C batteries. The controls to drive the truck are located on the top face of the console box. The levers in the upper right corner control the service brakes and engine throttle. The large red button is a machine stop switch. The joystick on the left side moves the truck forward or backward. The toggle switches below the joystick are PTO controls. CSX Spec 620 trucks are only equipped with one PTO, which is controlled by PTO switch number 1. The other PTO switch is unused. The blue button controls an air horn. The toggle switch next to that is labeled Easy Shift Enable and is unused on this vehicle. To the right of that is the toggle switch to restart the truck engine. The last toggle switch on the right will depress the clutch pedal. There is no need to use this switch in most circumstances, as clutch actuation is automated for vehicle movement, PTO operation, and while restarting the engine. There are two auxiliary switches on the right side of the console box. They must be in the down position during system startup. These two switches are not used on CSX trucks. The console box is water resistant and designed for outdoor use, but not outdoor storage. Always stored inside the truck cab and with the machine stop button down when not in use. See the vehicle's rail gear operation manual for instructions for getting the vehicle on rail. Ensure the areas in front and behind the vehicle are free of obstructions. Ensure that the system enable switch in the truck cab and the machine stop button on the console box are both in the down or off position. Set the parking brake. Ensure the engine is running and at idle. Ensure that there is at least 80 psi in the truck's air system. Turn off all PTOs. Place the transmission in neutral and in low range. Ensure that the clutch pedal is not pressed. Attach the shift cylinder assembly to the shift lever. Then attach the shifter spring to hold the lever all the way to the left. Pull the enable switch in the cab of the truck. The red light next to it will illuminate to indicate that the remote drive system is ready for the console box to be activated. Use the provided strap on the console box to free your hands so that 3 points of contact can be maintained while exiting the cab and climbing the ladder to the crow's nest. The machine stop button on the console box must remain in the down position to ensure no vehicle movement occurs. Set the console box on the pedestal and align it so that the magnetic base fully seats. The console box must be in this position for the system to function. Use the provided strap to click the console box to a secure anchor point. When remote drive functions are needed, check to ensure there are no obstructions in front of or behind the vehicle. Twist the machine stop button clockwise so that it pops up. Check to make sure all console box switches and levers are in the down or off position. Then locate the on-off switch on the left side of the console box and turn it on. The TX and RX lights will both flash to indicate that the wireless communication link is established. The blue button on the console box will activate an air horn. If needed, the engine can be restarted by pressing and holding the restart switch. Before flipping the PTO number 1 switch up to engage the PTO, ensure that the throttle lever is fully down so that the engine will be at idle. The clutch pedal in the cab will automatically actuate when cycling the PTO on or off. Before moving the vehicle, check to ensure there are no obstructions in front of or behind the vehicle. Then disengage the PTO and set the throttle to idle. Apply the service brakes if needed to prevent rolling. Move and hold the transmission joystick in the intended direction of travel, and then release the service brakes as the vehicle starts to move. The operation of the parking brake, clutch, and shift lever are all automated. The throttle and service brakes can be adjusted as needed while the vehicle is moving. To stop, simply release the transmission joystick and return it to the center position. The parking brake will automatically apply. The clutch will actuate while the transmission lever in the cab is returned to neutral. The service brakes can be applied if needed to help stop the vehicle. Release them again after the vehicle comes to a stop. To shut down the remote drive system, begin with the vehicle stationary and the parking brake set. Turn off the PTO. Press the machine stop button and wait 10 seconds for the remote drive shutdown sequence to complete. Note that pressing the machine stop button on the console box or the enable switch inside the cab of the truck at any time will initiate the shutdown sequence that stops truck movement, engages the parking brake, and turns off all remote drive functions. The engine will return to idle if it is running. Use the provided strap on the console box to free your hands so that 3 points of contact can be maintained while returning to the cab of the truck. Press the enable switch in the cab and wait for the cab air suspension to re-inflate. Remove the spring from the shift lever and then disconnect the shift cylinders from the shift lever. Place the pin and clip back on the shift cylinder clevis for storage. The truck is now ready to be driven from inside the cab. Thank you for watching. Please visit www.dmfatlanta.com for additional information.